Okay. All right. So to start with, make sure you're on the right page. Make sure you're on the one that says surface area. Okay. So when you look at it, you're going to see the lateral and surface area formulas over here. Notice they're very similar to prisms. Okay. So first we have 1/2 LP. L is this distance right here. I'm making it a cursive L. That's for your slant height. That is not the length. Okay. That is not length. So make sure that you understand that variables are going to mean different things in different situations. The slant height is this piece right here. It is the height of the triangle that's leaning. So I always refer to it as the leaning height. Because if you took your pyramid and unfolded it flat, this would just be the height of that particular triangle. But when you build your pyramid back and it leans in, it becomes slanted. So it's called the slant height. Okay. Big B is still the area of the base, and P is still the perimeter. Okay. So those things did not change. So to find surface area or lateral area, all you need is your perimeter, your base, and your slant height. So you need PBL, not PBH. So we're going to find the perimeter of our base. There is only one base in a pyramid, and it's always going to be what's opposite the tippy point. So if you find that point, whatever's underneath it is going to be your base. So I need to find the perimeter and the area of this square. Okay, a square has 4 sides. All the sides are 8, so my perimeter is 32. The formula for the area of a square is side squared, so that means 8 squared, which is 64. And in this problem, they were very kind, and they gave us the slant height, which is 11.7. So now that I have PBL, I can find lateral area and I can find surface area. So starting with the lateral is perimeter times slant height divided by 2. Perimeter is 32. The slant height is 11.7, and I'm going to divide by 2. And then I'm just going to type it in. So 32 times 11.7 divided by 2 is 187.2. And that is meters squared. Also, make sure you are typing it in the calculator and checking my answers, because I did make multiple mistakes yesterday. And I'm sure today will be no different. Surface area is really cool because if you look at it, isn't this your lateral area plus your base? So this is just lateral plus base, because there is only one base, so you don't have to do 2B. You're just doing AB. So we've got 187.2 for the lateral, plus our big B is 64. So just add 64 to your previous answer. So you get 251.2, and it is also meters squared. And that is all there is to finding surface area and lateral area. All right. So number 2 is also a square base. So it's identical to number 1, except the numbers are different. So we're going to find the perimeter of the base. We're going to find the area of the base. We're going to find the slant height. So since it is a square has 4 sides, and each side is 5. So 4 times 5 is 20. The area of a square is going to be 5 squared. So that is 25. The slant height, they gave it to us at 7.4. So now that I have PBL, I can do what I need to do, and I can find the lateral area, which is PL divided by 2. So 20 times 7.4 divided by 2, and that is 74 inches squared. Surface area, it's your lateral area plus your base. So the lateral area plus your base. So you really have to make sure that you know the difference between a prism and a pyramid so that you know which formula to use. And this is 99 inches squared. All right, let's look at number 3 now. So on number 3, we still have a square base. So we can find the perimeter of our base. So that's 4 sides at 16. So our base perimeter is 64. The area of our base is 16 squared, which is 256. And our slant height. Notice this time they did not give me the slant height. Okay, so this is where you're going to have to do an extra step to find the slant height. But please notice, they gave us the actual height this time. And if you draw the slant height in here, so draw your slant height, and then you connect it, it's making a right triangle. Which means if this whole entire side is 16, this point right here is just halfway across. So that makes that side 8, because you're just going to go halfway. So if you were standing right here and you walked straight to the middle of the square, you would have walked 8 feet because you walked halfway, because it's in the middle and halfway. Now notice what we've done here is we've created a right triangle. And our slant height is representing the hypotenuse. So I need to do Pythagorean theorem. So my slant height is the Pythagorean theorem, 3 squared plus 8 squared, take the square roots. So 3 squared plus 8 squared, and then take the square root like we always do, and we get 8.5. So our slant height is 8.5. Your slant height should be bigger than these two sides because it's the hypotenuse, and your hypotenuse is your longest side. Now I can plug this information in, and I can find my lateral area, which is perimeter times slant height divided by 2. 64 times 8.5 divided by 2. You will be doing Pythagorean theorem quite a bit today, which is why we learned to do it earlier in the year. So 272 feet squared is your lateral area. And our surface area is the lateral plus the base. So 272 plus 256. And that is 528 feet squared. Let's take a look at when the base is not a square. Okay, so our base this time is a triangle. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I still need the perimeter of the triangle. So looking at this, so the perimeter of my triangle, so my base is this triangle down here. Remember, your base is always, find your tippy point, your vertex, and your triangle or your base is always on the other side. So this is 10, 10, and 10. So 3 times 10 is 30. Now, I showed you guys a formula the other day when you have an equilateral triangle. Remember, side squared, square root of 3 over 4. So when you have an equilateral triangle, this works. All you need to know is the side. In this case, they gave me the base and the height. I can use that too, either way. So you could find the area 2 different ways. But I want to make sure that we remember how to do side squared, square root of 3. So this would be 10 squared, square root of 3 over 4. So I'm just going to type it in the calculator. I'm not going to try to make this more difficult. 10 squared, square root of 3 divided by 4, 43.3. And our slant height is given. Our slant height is always going to be the slanted edge of your triangle. So PBL. So now I can find my lateral area. PL over 2. 30 times 6.7 divided by 2. It's 100.5. And that would be inches squared. Surface area is the lateral plus the base. So 100.5 plus 43.3 is 143.8 inches squared. All right, so we're going to skip down to number 6. In this problem, we're going to find the perimeter of the base, the area of the base, and the slant height. The slant height, I'm going to go ahead and look here. The slant height is still that leaning height. So basically just find the edge and see what's leaning, and that's going to be your slant height, 11.3. In this problem, they're pointing and telling us, hey, here's your base right here. And this is the area. They're giving us big B, so we don't have to find it. Sometimes they'll give you what you need and you just plug it in. But obviously, sometimes you're going to have to find the area, which is the same way we did before. Now, the perimeter of this, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, and each side is 6. So my perimeter is 36. Scroll up. All right, so now I'm going to take these numbers and plug them in. Lateral area, perimeter times slant height divided by 2. 36 times 11.3 divided by 2. And that is 203.4. That is yards squared. Surface area is your lateral plus the base. So 203.4 plus 93.53. So that's 296.93 yards squared. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at cones. Cones are just like pyramids, but the base is a circle. And here's your formulas right here. You got pi RL, and then the surface area is your lateral area plus big B, because your big B is your area of the base, and the base is a circle. So it's exactly the same. This is still our slant height, but notice the slant height, the height, and the radius make a right triangle. So you will be doing Pythagorean theorem if you need to find something here. So r squared plus h squared equals slant height squared. It's still Pythagorean theorem, but with different letters. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. All right, so all we need is an r and an L. Notice every one of these formulas have an r or an L. So all I need is a radius and a slant height. My radius is 7. My slant height is 11.4. Plug and chug. Just type it in. Lateral is pi RL. Pi 7, 11.4. And then just type it into your calculator. Pi times 7 times 11.4. 250.7. 250.7 meters squared. And then your surface area is the lateral area plus pi r squared. So 250.7 plus pi 7 squared, because my radius is 7. So plus 49 pi. 404.6 meters squared. All right, so looking at number 9, notice that they've given us the height. They've even given us the slant height. What they did not give me is the radius. So I'm going to have to do Pythagorean theorem so that I can get the radius. So your radius is going to be 27.3 squared minus 25.2 squared. Okay, because when you know the hypotenuse, you always have to subtract. So just type it in the calculator and see what you get. So the square root of 27.3 squared minus 25.2 squared is 10.5. So our radius is 10.5 and our slant height is 27.3 slant height. So I'm just going to plug these in now. Lateral is pi RL. Pi times the radius times the slant height. Pi times 10.5 times 27.3 is 900.5. And that would be inches squared. And our surface area is your lateral area plus pi r squared. So 900.5 plus pi 10.5 squared. And you get 1246.9. And that is also inches squared. All right, so let's look at what happens if you know the surface area. So this is the ones where you have to work backwards. Okay, when I give you the surface area, you have to work backwards to find a missing piece. So basically, I'm telling you, here's a cone, and I want you to find the slant height. I'm going to give you the diameter, which is 18. Okay, so if my diameter is 18, then that means the radius has to be half of that. So my radius is 9. So my radius is 9. And we're looking for the slant height. But we know the surface area is 82278. So these are the things that we need. So the formula for surface area, I'm going to switch my pen here to a smaller font. All right, so the formula is pi RL plus pi r squared, okay, because that's what it told me here on the front, surface area. So I'm just going to copy the formula down. I'm going to plug in what I know into the formula and go backwards. So surface area is 822.78. So I'm going to replace S with what S is equal to. Pi times the radius times the slant height. I don't know the slant height, so I'm going to leave it L. Plus pi r squared. So now I know that this number here is 81 pi. So I'm going to subtract 81 pi. Because if I subtract 81 pi, and I should have wrote this higher up. So 822.78 minus 81 pi. And I'm just saving myself a step instead of finding the decimal of 81 pi. So this is 568.3. And this canceled out, so I'm left with 8 pi times the slant height. So my next step, and let me see if this will let me scoot this over. All right, I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit so that I can use my space here. Now I'm just going to divide by 8 pi. So I'm going to divide both sides by 8 pi. Make sure you put parentheses though, because if you're typing it into a calculator and you don't put parentheses, the calculator won't know that you want it to divide. So 568.3 divided by parentheses, 8 pi parentheses. And that tells me 22.6 is my slant height. So you have to work backwards. So since we were adding this number, we had to subtract it. And then we were multiplying by this one, so we had to divide. So working backwards. All right, so we'll move on to volume.